Hello and welcome to episode number 35 of the WP Café show with me, Keith Devon, and
with me, Mark Wilkinson. Welcome along, everybody. Episode 35. Today, I think we've got a bit of a shorter show today, haven't we? I've got a call at 2, so that kind of curtails it a little bit. But it's quite nice. It might keep it a bit more short and succinct.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? I don't know.
Yep.
So, topics for today, we have got, 3 primarily, possibly 4 if we get enough time. So, talk a little bit about full site editing. Then a little update on my plugin that I mentioned last week, Better Core Video Embeds, and we're going to look at fixed price versus hourly billing for projects and work. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss in today's show. So let's get started with full site editing. I put this on the list purely because I've been watching quite a few tutorials and some. I don't know if you get the meetup WordPress events come through. I tend to get them come through by email, and I've seen quite a few on full site editing. I've kind of watched some of the videos after them, and I've also attended 1 or 2. And it really has come a long way. And we've got a project which we're currently doing the designs for, or you're doing the designs for, and I really, really consider that we should have a go with it actually on that site. And it's interesting to think, is that right, or is that not the right thing to do at the moment? I don't know if you've got any thoughts, Keith. Should we go for it? What's your gut instinct?
Yeah, well, my gut, I think I suggested a little while ago that I'd quite like to give it a go on this project. I do like trying out the new stuff. So, just take for each project we do, just moving forward in some kind of way, like learning a new technology or whatever. So I'm usually quite up for trying new things, and I think this site is probably a good fit for that for that experiment.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's my gut feel. But I haven't watched those videos that you've watched, so I haven't seen how full site editing has changed recently. So I'd be interested to know like why you think it's getting closer to that stage for us. Like what's changed?
I will, just before we do, if you're watching along on YouTube, do say hello in the chat. Hello there to Darwin from Mexico. Thank you for joining us. So why do I think it's ready now? Essentially, I've kind of asked myself the question, like, oh, we do that the same thing as full site editing, but in a different way. So why not do it in the full site editing way? So one example is we have generally the footer of people's sites is like a block area, isn't it? And it's basically like a post, essentially, that you're just pulling in with blocks and they can build that up. So we're already doing that as like full site editing, but we're just doing it in a completely different way. Where actually now full site editing allows us to do that in a more natural and proper way, if that makes sense. So it just makes sense that we should do that the right way rather than sort of hacking it. Now it's available to us. And I think there's more and more things that I'm answering that think, oh, well, we could do that in full site editing actually now, where we don't have to sort of do our own little solution for it. And when you've got more of those questions being answered in that, yes, full site editing does it, then it probably makes sense to move into that direction rather than to keep moving in the direction that we were in, which is kind of doing things in a more bespoke way. So I think that's perhaps why we should give it a go. And this site that we're doing is, I don't want to say it's very basic. It's got some things in it, but there's nothing, I think, that would prevent it from using like fully blocks and everything like that. I don't think when we're looking through the designs, there isn't actually that many custom blocks in it, I don't think. We can pretty much build it with core blocks and patterns and things like that. So I think it would be a really good project to sort of push the boundaries of the new block themes and full site editing and really see how far we can get with a project using all those new tools, actually.
Try to stay as native as possible.
Yeah, which is like kind of what we try and do all the time.
Yeah. No, I think we should probably go for it. I guess I think we should. On the other side of the coin is that yes, things potentially look like they're kind of a bit more mature, a bit more stable, but we also, there's always the chance that there's little gotchas in there that we're currently unaware of. So we could go down this route and then be like, oh god, I hadn't thought about that, or this thing doesn't work quite the way we thought it would, and etc., etc. So yeah, I think it's always worth having a go though. And if do you know what, if it comes to it, I don't think it would be overly difficult to roll back from that position and say, actually, for this site, we're not going to do full site editing, and we're going to do it the way we've currently been working, which is kind of like a hybrid theme approach. So yeah, I'm up for it. I'm up for the challenge.
Cool. Well, we will have a go. Decision made. You can hold us to account on that one, everyone. And we will report back in the next few weeks. I suspect it'll be after Christmas now, but we can let you know how it's gone on and what pitfalls we found and what awesome stuff we found. That'll be good.
Yeah.
So next topic, and if you have any questions, by the way, if you're watching along, feel free to add them to the comments. We can try and get through to answering some of them. Next topic is, last week I told you about a plugin that I'd built, which just gives the performance boost to the core embed block if you're embedding YouTube or Vimeo videos. And essentially what it does, it kind of lazy loads the iframe rather than having to load all of the YouTube scripts and stuff in one go. So that is now in the WordPress repository, the WordPress plugins repository. It's available for anyone to go and use. I've also improved the plugin quite a lot since the first release, with lots of feedback from some people that follow me on Twitter and probably some listeners to this podcast. So thank you if you downloaded it, used it, and told me what was wrong with it. I've hopefully fixed all those issues. Some CSS things like CSS wasn't loading for some people. So changed the way that worked. It was kind of depended on what theme you're running and stuff like that. Also added support for captions, because I forgot that you can add a caption to an embed. So people were saying my caption doesn't display when the sort of thumbnail displays instead of the video. So I added that. Fixed some styly weird issues where on some themes the video wasn't filling this placeholder and things. So yeah, it's there. Go and have a look at it. Go and use it. Tell me what you think. Please be nice. And
what's it called again?
Let me know if there's any issues with it. It's called Better Core Video Embeds, and it's on the repository. It wasn't very searchable when I looked at it. I think it's just because of the way the search algorithm works in terms of like new plugins that don't have many installs. If you stick that in speech marks, it comes up.
Nice. So
if you actually put the name of it in speech marks, it actually just finds that slug, if you like.
We should
just come up with that one.
Probably add it to the comments.
We can.
And description.
If you want to learn about what it does, there's a video embedded on the WordPress plugins page. It's actually on this channel as well. It's a couple of videos ago that we did a little video to explain what it is. But yeah, I enjoyed making that. It was good. Glad it's got in there, and it's a bit. Hopefully, it'll be used by some people.
So it's not like you haven't. I know you've sort of half covered this, but just to be clear, you haven't built a new block. So this isn't like block development. You haven't. Have you had to touch React, or have you just? Is this been all PHP or like?
Yeah, pretty much. So I believe every block, when it gets output by WordPress, is run through a filter called render_block, and basically that gets past the block output. So what WordPress kind of prints to the screen, and it also gets past the block sort of. Well, it's like an array, but I guess I don't know if that's called block attributes. I think attributes is part of the array. So what I do is just hook in a function to the render block function. There's actually, you can customize it. So I think I've used like render block _embed /core or core/embed, I think it is. So it only works on that specific block. Just basically grab the markup that they're going to use, change it, and send it back again. So it's work like that, which is good. So I don't have to. There's no React in it. There's JavaScript in it because obviously the front end requires the JavaScript to sort of like when I click on the image, do stuff with JavaScript on the page to grab the stuff. But
that's just normal JavaScript in the sense that it's not interacting with the block API or
not at all. And in the editor, nothing changes. Just do what you did. We don't do anything in the editor. It all happens on the front end, which is kind of the beauty of the plugin, because from a user's point of view, they don't have to do anything different. You add a video exactly the same as you were before. Nothing changes for the user, and it kind of just makes it better on the front end if you have the plugin. And if you just deactivate the plugin, it kind of just goes back to what it was. which is fine and works really well. It was also give me some chance to spruce up my JavaScript as well, because I started with it and I was like almost immediately going into my jQuery on click type thing. It's like, no, not doing that, not doing that. So Keith pointed out the website was you might not need jQuery.com, which kind of like shows you what you would have done in jQuery and how to do it in like vanilla JS.
That's good.
So it doesn't use any jQuery. You should be pleased to know.
Which reminds me, I must finish. I must finish the WesBoss JavaScript 30 course. I never finished it. I think I got about halfway through.
Yep.
And it was great, but I just kind of broke the habit, and then totally forgot about it, to be honest. So I must get back into that, because I was learning. I was learning a lot, so that's good. Cool. Well, I hope hope that plugin's useful to some people.
Hopefully, yeah. On that, I find it's interesting because I think having done the 2 courses that we've done, so that was the block development course we talked about, I think, last week, and the WesBoss one, probably mentioned that a few weeks ago, didn't when we first started the course. But I think I've kind of learned, like, I struggle to learn through just watching a course. And even if I was to like take the materials in the course and sort of like type them out and do them, I need to learn by doing, I think. Like, I need a project. And then as I'm doing the project, I'd like refer to the course to find out how you do X, how to do Y, how to do A, how to do B, I think. I find it really difficult to sort of learn it by following a non-real example. If that makes sense.
So I understand. But so do you feel like you need reference materials more useful to you than a structured kind of like, we're going to build this together? You'd rather like have the idea of what you need to build, but have good reference material?
Yes, I think so. I'd like, I want to build this thing, and I know I need to, I don't know, in JavaScript, I need to do a click event, for this thing. So then I need something to go and find out how to do that click event, rather than having that specific to the example in the video, because I don't think it doesn't go in when I just watch it and like kind of repeat it. It's got to be. So it's interesting. I've learned a lot about the way I learn, I think.
I was thinking the other day as well, just on the kind of topic of block development and stuff. It would be really, I don't know if this does exist somewhere, but it seems to be, so you've got all these components that are built in, like the rich text component and the whatever else component. What would be useful? And we had a conversation with Frank around why are there not more maybe helper functions? I don't want to open up that can of worms again necessarily, but what would be great if we're not going to have helper functions is just documentation of how to do X. So like I'm in Reactor, I'm in the block kind of editor interface environment, and I want to return the post titles from a particular taxonomy. How would I do that? Joe, stuff like that, like examples, like loads of examples that are like easily searchable. So I
agree.
I think that would be so useful.
I was also thinking, in a similar way, and it's kind of revisiting that same conversation, it'd be almost taking what the advanced custom fields documentation has in terms of like, this is such a field, this is how you use it, and just replicating that, but in the block editor. This is how you do that field. This is how you do that field. This is how you get the list of terms. Just literally doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good.
Because when I tweeted out in fact, it was earlier this week, I think I tweeted the fact that I think it's missing some components. Lots of people replied and said, oh, we've got our own library. We're using this library. Why don't you have a look? It's open source on GitHub. And then someone else did the same thing. We use these helper functions. We've built them all ourselves and do this. And then we've done these ones. And I just thought, I mean, that's great. They've done some fantastic work. But like literally everyone is either doing the same thing over and over again because they're all building their own, or we're all building things that are slightly different. So surely that's just going to be a mishmash of things out there. And when something changes, everything's just going to collapse.
But is that how every new technology kind of starts? Everyone's doing
possibly,
their own thing, and then things get standardized.
Gradually it comes back. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we
got off piece there a little bit. Never mind. It was good.
That's all right.
Fixed price versus hourly billing. This kind of came into your attention. The word then.
So this topic is based on an experience over the last couple of weeks, and a tweet I put out yesterday, I think. And the tweet was, I'm 4 days into a project that I quoted 4 hours for. I gave a fixed price. You might think that I'd be totally stressed, but I'm not. It was my mistake and I'll learn from it. The client doesn't even need to know. And then after that, I wrote, this is why I love giving fixed prices. I'd be way more stressed if I have to go back and ask for more money. Now, I know, so this comes from, I guess, sort of a position of, I guess, privilege in the sense that financially we're safe. Like we're okay. We're not like, oh my God, how are we going to pay the bills this month? So I realized that that's, I'm at a slightly privileged position to be able to say it. Like I'm not stressed about basically losing 3.5 days work, which is effectively what's happened. So yeah, I'll caveat it all with that. But I just thought it just raised an interesting dynamic. I was just like, yes, I could be stressed about the money, but what I find just way more stressful in business in general is the kind of client vendor relationship and keeping that on track and being fair and being honest and yada yada. And in this particular instance, the client asked me to do something. I underquoted. They accepted the price. It's my fault. So
yeah.
And like, if I didn't know how long it was going to take, I would have. I was quite confident at the time because I hadn't really given it enough thought that I could deliver in that 4 hours. So this was my fault. And then so like the last couple of weeks, I'm like, right, I better keep cracking on with it, keep doing it. Like I gave a price. I'm gonna deliver what I said, and it feels good. Weirdly, it just feels like I'm doing the right thing. And it's from like a stress point of view. Yes, like it's not ideal, but it's just is the way it is. And I just felt like that was interesting. And a lot of people kind of like some people agreed with me. Someone raised the point that I should let them know that that is what's happened. And then someone else was like, no, you shouldn't let them know. Because like, why are you letting them know? To make them feel guilty in some way?
Yeah.
So I think the reason for letting somebody know was so that future expectations are realistic. So if they ask me to do something similar in the future and I say it's going to take 4 days, they're going to be like, well, you quoted me 4 hours last time.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point.
It is a good point. I understand that. And then then I think Katie Keith actually, Born too. She said, yeah, don't tell them, just get on with it, kind of thing. Just like, because why are you telling them? Like,
why are you telling them? I think that's actually, I never thought that's a good point that other person made. Like, so that they're aware of expectation. But I wouldn't tell them now. I'd tell them when it's finished. Like deliver the project. They don't need to know about it as it's going on.
Well, I've said to our client, this is taking me way longer than I thought, but I haven't. But only to let them know that like timescales, aren't what I thought they were going to be. This is holding me up slightly. I'm not saying it in the sense of please, throw a bit more cash my way, because like I say, it was my mistake, and I'm going to own it. I just thought it was interesting, and just like generally,
working has been so much better since we stopped using a clock. Basically, I hate to hate that where you start the clock and then you start work. You just feel like you've got to get it done as fast as possible, and then
I hate it. Yeah.
I hated it, and it's just so much better this way, and it's so much better for everyone because the client knows exactly what they're going to get. They know how much they're going to pay for it, and if they don't get it, then they don't pay for it.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you need to do this like full shift into value-based pricing, which understandably is a very like difficult concept and a difficult thing to implement. You can still price based on time. So you say, I think this is going to take me 4 hours and that is going to cost X. If it doesn't take you 4 hours, it still costs X. So you're still like, you've still got an hourly rate. You're not value pricing it. You still got an hourly or a daily rate or whatever, but you're giving a fixed cost.
Yeah.
And if you need to build in some wiggle room, both to your estimated time and your hourly rate. Like make sure that's high enough so that it covers these things,
Exactly. And the more you do this, the more you'll get it right, essentially. And you can say that for hourly billing actually as well. The more experience you have of doing it, then the more you'll get it right in terms of estimating the hours and so forth. But yeah, it's been wonderful over the last, I think it's about 2 years now, isn't it? We've done this where we just say we're not, because people email me like, "What's your hourly rate?" And I just say I don't have one. I just say, "We'll tell me what you want me to do, and I'll quote for that job." Yeah. And I think at first they're a bit taken aback, some people, because they expect you to say, we charge 50 quid an hour and it's going to take 4 hours. Whereas I just say, it's going to be 200 quid or whatever in that aspect. And they like it. They're like, "Oh, right, okay, I'll get this job done. And this is how much it is." It's just, why wouldn't you? It'd be interesting to see who is, if anyone else is taking that approach or there's still hourly billing and why. So was an interesting approach either way. I know some people prefer it the other way and do what's right for you, I guess. But what works for us, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think we should wrap it up because it's 21 minutes in and I've got a call at 2:00.
Well, yeah, it's been a short and sweet episode tonight. As always, thank you for those who've listened and watched along. We're trying to do this every week now, aren't we? We're going to schedule it so we don't slip.
We're trying. Yeah, we're really trying hard.
I think it's nice. The frequency is good and the length of time is hopefully good. But any feedback appreciated. But any questions for us, let us know, because what we really love actually is taking people's questions. It gives us a bit of something to think about. So if you've got any questions, let us know either in the comments of one of the videos already in the channel or over on Twitter at WP Café Show is a good place to get us. Or you can get both me and Mark on Twitter. Our handles are on the screen if you're watching, and they are at Keith Devon and at WP Mark if you're listening along. But until next week, see you soon.
Bye-bye.